What's up, guys, and welcome back to the pipeline. I've got some updates on all of these projects. We were able to sit down with the engineer last week and talk about some different ways we can go about cutting this lot up, different ways we can go about putting the detention pond in and whatnot. So I'll be sharing that all with you guys. Now, if you're new here, my name is Corey Fields Jr. I'm a builder, investor, and developer. In the past 24 months, my dad and I have built and sold over $5.5 million in residential real estate, and we've currently got $11 million in development, all with an average profit margin of 45 to 50%. So let's go ahead and get into the video. This is all of our projects right now lined up on a table. So if you want to pause and take a look at this, and we'll start with the investor build. So starting with commercial single family, we don't have any motion going on over here. We're still waiting on the city to come out and fix this water leak so they can then go in and put the water meter in with a new box. So we can't do anything until the city comes out and fixes all of this. We're just going to be dead in the water, essentially. So again, waiting on the city, can't do anything until they come out and fix this. Moving on, George Street single family. We are making great progress on this one. So last week we got all of our waterproofing done. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. They went in, put their system in, and sprayed. I think they did a 5-year system. But yeah, and then moving on to the exterior, we got this thing painted. This is the color it looks like. I'll include pictures of what the finished product looks like in the next video. But this is what the color looks like that they went with. And the entire house will be this color. So this house is now fully weather tight now that everything's caulked up and sealed and painted. Then moving on to the inside, we got our plumbing roughings done. We got our HVAC roughings done, electrical roughings done. We'll be insulating tomorrow morning. We'll have our MEP inspection and framing inspection tomorrow afternoon. Drywall will be delivered on Tuesday, and they will probably start hanging on Wednesday. So we should have sheetrock hung, taped, and mudded and sanded by probably Wednesday, week after next. So we're making really good progress on this one. We are set to get this thing finished up by the end of October. And we started this thing September 2nd. That's when we started moving on this thing. And we will have this thing finished up by the end of the month. So that's 2 months. This will be, if we can get this thing finished up by the end of October, that's a pretty damn quick build, 60-day build. So I guess we'll see. We'll see if we can get this thing finished up by the end of the month. We're pushing. We're trying to get all these knocked out and banged out before the holidays, because we're not trying to be working during the holidays. So we're moving pretty well on this one. Moving on to Andrew's single family. We didn't get to this one last week, but we are going to get this pad built up and the foundation formed up on Tuesday. Moving on to the owner builds, and we are going to start with Baker's single family. We did get moving on this one finally. They started digging out the footings for the walls, and that's what that looks like here. So we did deviate from the plan a little bit. It's going to look a little bit different than what that site plan looks like. Instead of there being separate retaining walls over here, they're all going to be one connected wall. So this looks like a really big footing, which is fine, because the wall, they're going to be able to really get that wall dead up where it needs to be. Because the house is actually going to sit on this wall. Actually, no, it's going to be a post. There'll be a post right here. But they're going to get these footings poured, and then they'll come in with the block, and the block guys will get these walls all set up. And then after the block's all set up and whatnot, then we'll go in and actually get the pad set up and pour the slab. So that's what we're working with over here, and I'll show you guys what that looks like over here on the site plan, original site plan. So originally we thought we were going to have to do a wall right here, but we do not need to do a wall back here. This wall is actually going to be all in here. So instead of doing a separate, instead of this retaining wall being over here, this retaining wall is essentially just going to be connected to the house, per se. So this wall will be running all the way from this point to down here somewhere, wherever it starts tapering off. And then on this side, this wall right here is just going to be connected, same thing, connected to the house, and ran all the way down here in a straight line. So it'll look a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same. We just had to do that to really work with the grade and make it all work. And that's the path of least resistance. So that's where those stairs are going to be, going up into the house. And yeah, we're moving along here. They're going to be back over here on Tuesday. So what's going to happen is they're going to pour these footings on Tuesday. And then after they pour these footings, they're going to come over here to Andrews, and then they're going to build this pad up and form it up. And then that's how we're going to go about that. So on Tuesday, we're making progress on both foundations, and that's what we like to see. Now moving on to the Northwest single family. This one is still in the permitting process, but we should be seeing that towards the end of the month. Only thing here, I mentioned in the last video that we're going to move this footprint up. We're actually not going to move it up. We are going to lose these trees. The reason that we originally were going to move it up and put it on top of this abandoned sewer main is so that we could save these nice trees. These trees are really nice. I'd call them specimens. They're just, great, healthy trees. But we're going to end up losing them because we're not going to build on top of this sewer line. Now, we definitely could. There's nothing saying that we can't, but we're just not going to because there's no point. There's no point in risking building on top of an abandoned sewer line. So we're just going to go ahead and knock down these trees and then put the footprint over here and call it a day. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this one. Again, should be seeing that building permit by the end of the month. Moving on to the Austell townhomes. We are working away over here. We're still putting everything together. Again, I'm going to really be diving into this as we get closer to actually getting started, or not closer to getting started, as we begin getting started. So it'll all make sense, because talking about it right now, it really just won't make any sense. But we are getting everything lined up. And again, we should be ready to actually start construction, putting in these sewer lines and tying in all this and whatnot in the next few weeks. So again, how this is going to work over here. First, we have to put in all our utilities in, so sewer and water. Then after we put sewer and water in, we'll start working on the underground detention pond and then go from there. But that's pretty much the process of this 10-unit townhome build in a nutshell, or at least where we are right now. So I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you guys updated on this one as we get closer, but that's pretty much it for this one. Now, moving on to the Smyrna Enclave. Again, this one's still in the process of getting permitted. We're still trying to get that land disturbance permit. We did learn a few things in the meeting with the engineer on ways we could have gone about this better, so that was good. But yeah, again, same thing here. As we get closer to getting this land disturbance permit, I'll really be able to dive deep into how we're going to go about setting this up for construction and whatnot, and actually developing this lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it here. Moving on to the Hiram 2 lot. Now, this one. So over here, this is what we sat down with the engineer about, figuring out how we were going to go about this, whether we're going to do 2 lots or 4 lots. And like I said before in the last video, the main difference here is that detention pond, that stormwater detention pond. So we talked about all the different ways we could go about it. And what he's going to do is, when we close on Friday, we're going to get a new survey, an updated survey. This survey right here, these contours are from the GIS. It's not ground drawn. So we're going to get an updated ground drawn survey, so he can then go and really figure out what that would look like if we were to go with 4. I'm still leaning towards 2 just for a speed aspect, because we'll have to do much less. And now that we know, after going through the exercise of, kind of just planning out a system, it'll be expensive. It'll probably end up being double what we thought it would be for the detention pond. We originally thought it'd be $50K just for a basic detention pond, but it'll probably end up being double or more than that. But even if it is double, the numbers still work. The deal still pencils. Again, like I said before, it's about the time that's going to take to do all of this. From an engineering standpoint, it won't take any longer for him to draw it all up and get it submitted and whatnot. Now, the revision process of him turning it around and whatnot, who knows? Again, like I said before, 6, 8, 12 months. Even with the permitting process and the construction, it's just a bunch of extra steps and a bunch of extra stuff that we're really just not interested in doing for these properties. I mean, if the comps were higher, I'm talking if we had comps in the 6s or 7s over here, then like hell yeah, we can wait this out and get 4 lots and build some nicer houses. But the comps are in the mid to low 5s over here. So I'm still leaning towards 2. We might go with 4. I don't know. We'll see after we get that new updated survey and see what he figures out when he goes in and draws up what we would need to do if we were to put a system on here. The most cost-effective system on this property. So it's really a waiting game. We'll see. We're going to wait and see what he comes up with. Depending on what he comes up with will depend on whether we do it or not. Like I said before, it's not about how much it's going to cost. Even if it costs us double or ends up being $150,000, the numbers still work. I mean, the margin is a little bit less, but the numbers technically still work. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said before, it's going to be a waiting game. After we close on Friday, we'll get that new survey, send it over to the engineer, and he'll start cooking up and drawing some stuff up for us. Then coming over here to the Dillon 2 lot, nothing really changed here. Again, we're closing on Friday on this one as well. Split right up the middle. Can't really do anything till we close. We're not going to spend any more money on this till we close. So after we close, we'll go ahead and start with the tree work, clearing out all this brush so they can then go in and do a soil test or another soil test, level 3. Then at the same time that they're doing the soil test, we'll get our survey and then send everything to the engineer to start getting everything drawn up. So that pretty much sums up what we are working with when it comes to the pipeline. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.